Part 1. The Life and Work of John Calvin. Chapter 1. The Young John Calvin, by Michael A. G. Haykin. My ministry ought to be dearer to me than my own life. John Calvin, preface to his commentary on 2 Thessalonians. I am not eager to speak about myself. At one point in John Calvin's earliest publication after his conversion, Psychopanachia, the 1534 treatise against the Anabaptist doctrine of soul sleep, the French theologian reflected on what life is like without a saving knowledge of the living God. While his comments are not autobiographical in form, they can, as Heiko Obermann has pointed out, be interpreted as a commentary on his own life prior to his conversion. Do you want to know what the death of the soul is? It is to be without God, to be deserted by God, to be abandoned to yourself. Since there is no light outside of God who lights our darkness, when he withdraws his light, then our soul is certainly blind and buried in darkness. Our soul is mute because it cannot confess and call out to embrace God. The soul is deaf because it cannot hear his voice. The soul is crippled since it does not have a hold on God. It is not at all surprising that Calvin would have veiled his experience in this way, for of all the reformers he was the most reluctant to discuss details of his life in works destined for public consumption. As he told Cardinal Jacopo Sadoleto, 1477 to 1547, I am not eager to speak about myself. He had, as Obermann aptly puts it, a dislike of self-disclosure. From his hand, there are really only two major sources for details about his life before his conversion, namely sections from his Reply to Sadoleto, 1539, which need to be used with caution since they are not explicitly autobiographical, and those from the preface to his Commentary on the Book of Psalms, 1557. Occasional remarks here and there in other passages in the works of Calvin, some of which are noted in the following, help fill in some of the gaps of his early life, as does the biography of the French reformer by his friend and ministerial colleague Theodore Beza, 1519 to 1605. Beza wrote two lives of his friend and mentor. The first saw the light of day 3 months after Calvin's death in 1564. The following year, one of Beza's fellow pastors, Nicolas Colladon, published a considerably enlarged life of Calvin that built on the work of Beza but incorporated new material. 10 years later, after Colladon had left Geneva in 1571 for Lausanne, Beza issued a revision of his own biography, but one that also made liberal use of the material in Colladon's work. Intended for theology. John Calvin was born on July the 10th, 1509, in Noyon, Picardy, in northeastern France, to Gérard Cauvin, died 1531, and his first wife, Jeanne, née Lefranc, died 1515, both of whom Beza described as widely respected and in comfortable circumstances. From a town clerk, Calvin's father had risen to occupy the position of a financial administrator in the Cathedral of Noyon. A quarrel with the cathedral authorities, however, led to his excommunication, in which state he died in 1531. Calvin's mother, whom Calvin does not appear to have ever actually mentioned in print, died when John was a young boy of 6,